President Biden is set to address the nation for the first time after dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. And we speak to the American athletes heading to Paris, hoping to bring their sport to the Olympics. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Happy Wednesday. Today is July 24th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. Today, President Biden will address the nation for the first time to explain why he ended his 2024 presidential campaign and what he will focus on in the 6 months remaining in his presidency. Biden arriving in Washington from his home in Delaware on Tuesday. This was the first time we've seen the president in 6 days since learning he was diagnosed with COVID. He answered one question from reporters, saying he is feeling well after now testing negative for COVID-19. In tonight's address, Biden is expected to also explain why he believes Vice President Kamala Harris is the best candidate to take on former President Trump in November. Trump announcing he would be willing to debate Harris multiple times if she does secure the delegates at the Democratic National Convention. The campaign trail is red hot now. Here's a snapshot of what's to come. Harris wrapping her first rally in Wisconsin Tuesday and now heading to address a historically black sorority convention in Indianapolis today. And tomorrow, addressing a teachers union that endorsed her this week. Trump will rally in North Carolina later today, and then he and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, will hold a joint rally in Minnesota this weekend. And new polling is now out, the first few conducted after Harris launched her presidential campaign. In a head-to-head matchup, an NPR poll finds Trump at 46% and Harris with 45% support among registered voters. But a Reuters poll has Harris ahead 44% compared to Trump's 42%. A potentially tight race from the start with a little more than 3 months to go. A major development since the assassination attempt on former President Trump's life was Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle stepping down after calls for her resignation. That's not the only change taking place since the close call on Trump's life. Trump's campaign will reportedly now stop holding outdoor rallies after the Secret Service encouraged the campaign to stop holding them outdoors. The campaign says current plans are to hold indoor events and maybe smaller outdoor ones, but only in more controlled settings. Other news making headlines from the Trump campaign. They have now filed a complaint with the FEC in an effort to block Biden's campaign from transferring $91 million to Harris's campaign. Trump's team says Harris improperly took over the cash after the Biden campaign account changed its name to Harris for President earlier this week. Harris's campaign spokesperson has dismissed the filing. Dozens of demonstrators showed up to the U.S. Capitol to protest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the U.S. The protest was organized by the group Jewish Voice for Peace, with a similar message as other high-profile war protests, with demonstrators chanting "Free Palestine, not in our name," and "Stop Genocide" as they staged a sit-in at a congressional office building. Capitol Police arrested more than 200 people. The protest came as Netanyahu is in Washington meeting with U.S. lawmakers today and the days to follow. Multiple other protests are already planned for today as he's set to deliver a speech to Congress. Netanyahu is expected to meet with President Joe Biden tomorrow. He'll also meet with Vice President Kamala Harris tomorrow and former President Donald Trump on Friday as he looks to lock in support for Israel from both candidates ahead of November's election. A ban in Iowa that prevents most abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy will take effect starting next week. A district judge has ruled the law will be in effect starting Monday morning. The law originally passed last year but was then placed on hold. Last month, Iowa's Supreme Court ruled there was no constitutional right to an abortion in the state, lifting that hold. Abortion in Iowa has been legal for up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. Iowa will now join 3 other states that ban ban abortions after about 6 weeks. We now know the day Senator Bob Menendez will be resigning from his position following his conviction earlier this month on 16 counts, including bribery, extortion, wire fraud, obstruction of justice, and acting as a foreign agent. His resignation will take effect August 20th, giving his staffers time to find new jobs. This comes as the New Jersey lawmaker was facing mounting pressure to step down or face being expelled from the Senate. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is expected to appoint a replacement to fill the remainder of Menendez's term, which ends on January 3rd. Tesla's profit is down more than 40% for the second quarter of this year, and that can mostly be attributed to weak auto sales. From April to June of this year, the company's revenue for its electric vehicles is down more than $1.3 billion compared to the same time last year. Experts say Tesla is facing a double whammy of more competition from big automakers and an overall decline in EV sales. But owner Elon Musk is focused on Tesla's future, announcing this week Tesla will have its humanoid robots in production to be used within the company next year. Tesla has been working up the robot model for several years as part of its efforts to expand into robots and artificial intelligence. Finally this morning, as Team USA members prepare to compete at the Summer Games in a few days, there is one group of American athletes ready for another type of competition, one where the goal is to see their sport make it into the next Olympics. And as senior producer Brock Kohler tells us, they are racing toward Paris with hope and determination.
When the Olympic Games open this week in Paris, you'll be able to watch beach volleyball at the Eiffel Tower Stadium. But for USA's Christine Mansour and ABA Udo Odoma, their attention will be on another beach sport 15 miles away, beach handball.
Let's go! Paris! Let's go! It's a dream come true. You know, there's still some preparation, so I don't think the magnitude of playing in Paris has hit me because I'm still focused on training.
Mansour, fresh off getting her MBA, means business when it comes to giving beach handball its due.
I always view it as a startup sport. Not that many people know about it, especially in the States. So it's always, it's so interesting because once I explain the sport to people and I show them a clip, the interest is immediately piqued.
Just like the sport itself, Udo Odoma is better known outside the US, often referred to internationally by his nickname, Handball Ninja.
I remember shaking hands with an opponent and I asked him his name, he introduced himself. I said, "Hey, I'm ABA." It's like, "Ninja, you don't have to introduce yourself, we all know who you are." And I just chuckled.
Unlike the indoor version, beach handball is not yet an official part of the Olympics. But this year in Paris, beach handball is an exhibition sport, played alongside the Olympic Games. Mansour and Udo Odoma are among 64 of the world's best athletes from 18 different countries playing in a showcase with hopes for the sport to be granted a permanent spot.
It's really important to me that you have these mediums in life, like sport, where you can transcend barriers, whether those are political, social, geographical. It's nice to have something that connects you to other human beings independent of kind of superficial restrictions.
After playing Division I basketball at Harvard, Mansour found beach handball while living in California and excelled, becoming the top scorer in the 2022 World Championship, moving to the Netherlands and creating a dual-nation team, and now being named the only female player from North America for the showcase.
We're all entrepreneurs in that sense, where we're all doing our part to build this community and build this sport and build awareness so that we can continue to reach higher levels. And with that, of course, the ultimate goal is reaching the Olympics.
Mansour says one of the big differentiators setting this sport apart from others, the points for spectacular goals, the alley-oops, and the spin shots.
When you have the ball, you jump up, you spin in 360 in the air, you shoot against the goalie, and if you make it before you land, that's 2 points.
It was those moves that first caught the attention of the future handball ninja, playing at Oregon State University and joining the national team a decade ago.
For really a couple decades worth of work to culminate into something like getting the opportunity to play under the rings. Just the flood of emotion that initially hit me was immense.
Olympic gold is not the goal this year for these Americans. They are just out to prove beach handball belongs at the Olympics, and they're not going to miss their shot, spinning or not, to showcase that.
So to have this opportunity as we shoot to get it on the program for Los Angeles 2028, Brisbane 2032, and to be an integral part of the history of something, that's something that has even more value on top of what I accomplished as an individual athlete or as a competitor. To be a part of something bigger than me.
For me to be a part of like an Olympic showcase event for a sport that I am obsessed with and I love and I wish the whole world knew about is the greatest honor.
These are your top stories for this Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.